as for all the teams in this competition, after each game, recovery is the first thing you take care of, and that's no different for us. I think we've done a good job of physically recovering, and then tactically and mentally we have reviewed what went well the other night in Philly and what didn't go well the other night in Philly, and we feel we are well prepared for tomorrow's match at home, and we are in a good position to advance to the finals, but there's still a lot of work and a very good opponent on the other half of the field tomorrow night.
So we'll go straight into questions. Anyone? Michele, go ahead.
Coach, I know you like to focus on your team, but today Team Curry confirmed that Jose Martinez was out. He said post-game that he believed that you guys got the equalizer because Jose wasn't on the field and he's a very important player. How does his absence change something for you?
For us, it doesn't change. We have the same. We'll have the same mentality, the same game plan. Yes, he's a very good player, and he's an important player for Philadelphia. So it's really more of a question for them how it affects them, but it doesn't change our approach.
Preparations out of the game this weekend. Hey Steve, how are you doing? Preparations that you've had with the MLS relieving you of a game this weekend. How did you make the most out of that?
Recovering first, physically and mentally. We've had a lot of travel in the past couple of weeks, so that's all out of our bones. And I think our team is excited to be playing at home again in front of our fans with the opportunity of advancing into a Concacaf Champions League final.
Because of the way Philadelphia plays, some would say they're a better road team in many ways because they can press and they can make teams dictate towards there. Do you see a dynamic with that when from home and away? Haven't seen Philadelphia a couple times now the last few months.
I would disagree.
Okay.
I think their record speaks for itself. It's a good team regardless, whether they're home or away, and they have a very particular style of playing, and they stay true to that, and that's what makes them dangerous. They don't go left or right; they go straight ahead, and they are predictable amongst one another. Every player in their squad and their organization knows what to do and what moments, and that's what makes them good. We obviously have identified that. We have our own way of playing, and we feel we match up well against them, as I'm sure Jim also says. So it's as always going to be a very tight match against them. Neither club is willing to give an inch, and I think it's a fantastic matchup, one we're looking forward to, and trying to use our home field advantage to be just a little bit better tomorrow night.
There's a lot of respect with Jim, and obviously you saw because Ante were teammates with him, but just kind of like a different coach, manager going through early stages of what kind of you're doing as well. Do you guys ever exchange some stories or thoughts about the process?
Sure, I had a nice conversation before our match in Philly, and it's been a pretty congested schedule for the organizations who are involved in Champions League and now Open Cup as well. And then MLS, it's been crazy, and it's going to continue to be crazy, and a lot of work. And that's something Jim and I spoke about. But we both love what we do, and I think both staffs are well equipped for all these games, and we wouldn't want it any other way.
Thank you.
Obviously, you studied the last game last week in depth, but the fact is that they have to score at least one goal. And have you gone back to MLS Cup recently, because they scored 3 goals on that game? And if you did you saw something that you might want to fix or that you pinpointed exactly?
No, I think there's enough information from our game in Philly to go off of. We didn't go back as far as the final. It's you just look at the teams, very different teams. So the different names, the starting lineups are similar, but both teams were in a different moment, physically and mentally. It was the final game of the season. This is a little different. And in the final, there's obviously no awarding away goals, and there's no preset conditions going into the game. It's you win, and you lose. So this is a little different. So no, we did not go back and look at that.
Thank you. We go to questions on Zoom. Brian, take it away.
Thanks, Alonso. If you have a question for Coach, please raise your yellow emoji hand. I'm going to start with Jonathan Tannenwald. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Steve. This is Jonathan Tannenwald with Philadelphia Inquirer. You alluded to this a moment ago, that there were some things that you thought didn't go so well for your team in the first leg, and I was wondering if you might be willing to expand on what those were. And I heard you mention the word predictable at one point a moment ago when referring to Philadelphia, and some coaches will say that's a compliment, and some coaches will say it's not a compliment. And I wonder which it is for you. Thank you.
I'll answer the latter part of your question first. Predictable for me means amongst themselves. So it's 100% a compliment. So they train in a manner. I'm assuming I'm not there every day, but the end result is so that I can come to the conclusion that every player knows what to do in every moment of the game, and that makes them amongst themselves very predictable, which is a huge compliment. They have a clear way of playing, and they're quite good at it, and they feel comfortable in that. And they have also the next step in an organization is to then build a roster around a style of play, which they've done as well. So the players they bring in and the attributes they bring fit that model to a T, and that's why they've had so much success over the years. And for me, it's logical and smart, and it's something we now have been able to see a few times and feel a few times, and we feel we are also equipped to beat them, but it's going to take a very good performance.
Okay, we'll go next to Justin Ruderman.
Hi, Coach. You mentioned here that they're obviously predictable. You know the way that the Philadelphia are going to play, and you also mentioned that it is a little different now that there is the 1-1 going into the game rather than it just being a clean slate. Do you think that is going to change the way that Philadelphia play in any way, that they do need to score a goal? They can't just be a defensively solid team that they're built on?
I do not. I think it'll look similar to the other night, their performance and their approach to the game. They came out and played an excellent first half and gave us some problems. And that's the Philly I expect tomorrow night.